Hi, welcome to the St John's Grammar Learning Early series. I'm Jodie Benveniste, a psychologist, parenting author and the director of ParentWellbeing.com. And we're here at St John's Grammar School in beautiful Blair, South Australia, talking about concerns and issues that parents often have when they're thinking about their child starting school. Last episode we talked about how learning occurs, how it happens for kids, and we also realised that there's a lot has changed in education and learning. So what we're doing this episode is talking about how you can really support your child's learning. And today we have Kay with us, who is a special needs teacher here at St John's. We have Christy, who is a mother of 4 here at the school, and we have Joanne, who is a Year 6 and extension teacher. So, really interesting topic, this one, about how we can support our kids' learning. What is it that we can do to really encourage them to get that love of learning that we talked about last episode? What do you think, Joanne?
You know, learning's fantastic, and we just want the kids to sort of spark up. And I think the most important thing is that we allow them to take risks, to say it's actually okay to give things a go, and to really explore, and to allow our kids to explore, and to give them time to explore. And things that you might not feel so comfortable, like maybe making a mess, or lots of cutting up, or getting out the paint. You know, for our kids, that's actually really quite key and quite critical.
Would you agree with that, Kay?
Absolutely. What you're actually doing is help build that skill of resilience. So it's about really, as they move into school, there's going to be lots of different things that they're going to find that they're a little bit tentative about, or some things that they're just, you know, right into. But when those situations arise, it's really good to just step back and help them to build that resilience and
that's right.
Because that helps build their confidence too. Have you found that, Christy, with your children?
Definitely. I mean, you get them just to take control and make a cake. It will either work or it won't. But
and not jump in all the time.
Not as much as you want to wipe up after.
Get them to do it.
Get the eggshells out.
And what about sort of setting up some routines and rituals around learning? How does that help kids to be organised, and how does that help their learning, Joanne?
Oh, it's really important, and Kay will sort of talk about different ways that we can do that. But from a brain research point of view, it's so important that we kids can predict what's going to happen, because it takes away all the mystery, and it takes away any anxiety, and guess who's in control? They are, because they know exactly what's going on, and it's very, very important that we set up those routines. And Kay has really great strategies in helping the children do that.
Well, in particular with children that have got some learning needs and things like that, often having little charts up. So you've just got a picture, and maybe even it's laminated so they can tick things off. But it's just helping them to be responsible, to know what they need to do, and the more often you do it, hopefully it becomes really habitual.
And what about screen time? There's a lot of talk about screen time now. How does that impact on learning?
Well, it's got a really big impact, especially if you've got the TV on in the morning. So it's really good if you can avoid that, because not only is it interfering with that whole routine that you're trying to establish, but they're really quite hyper with the energy that's coming from the screen. And what we really want them to do is to be organised and ready for their learning.
So turn the TV off in the morning.
That's one of our rules. We do not have the TV on in the mornings, purely because they just get distracted by it. And then you're yelling, which is horrible to be doing at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it just starts the day off badly. So we've made the rule, there's no TV, and you just, recess is always done. The kids do their recess the night before, so I'm doing the lunches with them, so helping, you know. But it's just, it's our routine that we do, and their breakfast.
And what about healthy eating and sleep, and they impact on learning too, don't they?
It's critical, but so is the one at the other end as well. And so when we talk about sleep, and again if we go back to the brain research, so much important research has been done, hasn't it, on the importance of sleep. And because we need to ensure that our kids have got the full amount of sleep so that we can process and organise our thinking. And so to be able to get enough sleep to process and organise our thinking, we need to make sure that our habits of going to bed, like turning the lights down low, getting a book out, reading it quietly to our children, that all kicks in, and that happens.
And that really helps.
And you know, that watching television or even in front of a laptop, that bright light can reactivate and wake up our brain again. So it's actually really important that we, you know, build in these good routines to actually go to sleep nice and calm, and it's the same and predictable each night. So.
And what about, because you know when kids come home and you say, you know, how's your day, or what did you do today, and you don't really get much out of them, how can you ask kids really good questions so that it supports their learning?
We could probably change the question.
Yeah.
You know, what was the favourite thing that you did today? So you're getting a little bit more specific information, and then keeping it quite open so that they can come in at any sort of angle for it.
I find that at dinner time is when they'll talk more. Like when you're sitting around at dinner time, they'll actually just come up with something, and they'll talk amongst each other. Obviously, the four of them, there's two at senior school and two at junior, and they'll have a little bit of a banter and joke, and you sort of ask a bit more, and then they'll tell you exactly what's going on. And it's lovely because then it triggers the children. They're all to talk about things, and
and you're sharing and you're hearing their opinions.
And so I find that's usually when they'll talk more. You get.
And it's really good to get them, to get them to talk about their own opinions as well, and sort of listening to each other. And it's okay to have a different opinion to others, and that's another thing that will help them as they're moving through school. And, being a little bit more critical, perhaps.
Yes. And what other sorts of questions can you ask?
This is a hard one, Jodie, in terms of like, I know that I'm a mum too, and a teacher and all the rest of it, and sometimes asking questions, it's, you just don't sometimes even have the time to do that.
Well, you ask and they don't even answer either.
It might be like, how was school today? What did you do today at school? Oh, nothing, and you're not quite sure how to actually take that next step. And so we actually get trained on how to ask questions. And what Kay was saying, what's your one favourite thing you did today, is a really great way to start. And then I've got something that I'm going to show you. There's a really great thinker called Edward de Bono, and he has come up with what we call the 6 hats, and you may have heard of that. And what it does is it gets us to think about different ways we can ask questions. And us teachers use this a lot. And it's things like, what were the good things about your activity? What was not so good? What would you try differently? And how did you feel when you were doing this? And so what I've done is that we actually make them up, and we actually refer to these, and we use these all the time.
And we can do that as parents too, can't we?
Absolutely.
And what about the feedback that we give our kids? There's been issues around praise and what you should and shouldn't do. How do you give kids feedback?
Well, you need to be quite specific about what is it that you actually want to praise with. And also be authentic. Just make sure that you really mean it, rather than just praise for praise.
I found, like they're saying, the internet usage, with even children getting on Facebook and that sort of thing, it's something that I've been really onto, and making sure nothing bad is written or anything like that. So you're constantly warning them and saying, don't do this, don't do that. But then I actually heard some speakers say, look, you should also praise your children when they are doing the right thing.
That's right.
Don't forget about them because they are doing the right thing. And so we've sort of tried to I'm really proud of the way everything's going so far. Just keep it up.
So it's that balance.
So it's that whole without going overboard and then going, here they go.
And I think the other thing, like I've learned with kids, is that they're always watching you. They're not always listening, but they're certainly watching. And we can be good role models as learners, can't we, as well? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're probably the prime one. We've been that for the first 5 years of their life too, as parents. And then as you move into school, they've got a whole new set of role models to go through too.
Thank you all for coming today. I think it's such an interesting topic, the whole topic of learning, how kids learn, and also what we can do as parents to really support our kids' learning. It's about allowing them to take risks and experiment and get messy. It's about asking them questions and allowing them to explore their learning. It's also about setting up some rituals in our homes, some routines, being organised, and being a really good role model ourselves for lifelong learning. That's certainly what we can do to help our kids with their learning. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and you've got some tips and ideas out of it. next episode we're going to be talking about that really concerning topic. I know it's a really common concern amongst parents where you compare your child to other children. So we're going to talk about that and give you some ideas for how to manage that. Thank you for joining us, and I hope that we'll see you in the next episode.